We are talking about captivating cocktails. This has been a segment I've been looking forward to. Everyone knows that I'm a big wine enthusiast, but I don't really cover a lot about cocktails. So I thought leading into the spring/summer period that we're going into, this would be a great opportunity to do that. So I got a couple housekeeping things I want to bring up before I start talking about who my guests are. One being that yes, next week I will absolutely be honoring National Wine Day, which is next Friday. Armando from Zuma could not wait to let that out of the bag. He had to make the announcement before I did. So Armando is correct. I will be covering National Wine Day next Wednesday, and it actually takes place on next Friday, so I'm excited about that. I'm also excited to announce that this weekend I will be embarrassing myself nicely and participating in Bras for a Cause for the Gloria Gemma Breast Cancer Resource Foundation, which is a great client of mine. They have this wonderful event at Twin River this coming Saturday. Fred from Luca and Danny is coming in with Kate afterwards, so he'll be able to fill you in a lot more on his participation and what he's doing, but please check out social media and support however you can. Today, getting to the captivating cocktails, I have four very fun guests that I'm looking forward to bringing in. In just a minute, I'll bring in Jesse, who's with the Courtland Club, a very new venue, I think about 6 months old. Already getting rave reviews for their style, their structure of how they do things, and of course their cocktails. So it's going to be great to talk with him. I have Laura coming on, who is with Buns and Bites. Now, Laura has done miraculous things in a very short time, becoming a foodie, an Instagrammer, and a blogger. And I want to talk to her about how she got there and her appeal and the things that are going on with the various restaurants that she visits, as well as I want to find out some of her cocktails. So she's going to be joining me. I've got Marco coming in from the Black Sheep, which is, I'm losing my balance here, he's right down this way in downtown Providence. They become known as this also neighborhood bar for the Down City area, and they've come up with some pretty creative cocktails over there, so we're going to get an overview from them. They're celebrating, I believe, their 1-year anniversary just now. And then my final guest is going to be Vito, and Vito is the cocktail guru over at the Dorrance and has created some amazing things, and they have an extensive cocktail list. And also for the last, I forget how many years they are now, been getting rave reviews across the country for their cocktail list. So I've got Vito as my last guest from the Dorrance. So to kick things off, let's get Jesse in here so we can get going and talk about what's happening at the Courtland Club. Hey, look at this. How are you, sir?
Hey, Rick. How are you, sir?
Good. Look, hey,
brought you a little something there.
This is going to be a whole new world for me learning about all these things, so I'm very excited to do it. And we got some other great items that he's already brought in, but before we get to food and before we get to these captivating cocktails, I really want to get a little bit of an overview because you're so new. Is it 6 months, am I correct?
6 months, just about, yep.
So tell us where the Courtland Club is and kind of give us a visual of everything you got going on there. A verbal visual, if you will.
So we're a little cocktail bar on the west side of Providence. We're located at 51 Courtland Street. It's kind of a nondescript residential neighborhood, sort of in between Westminster and Atwells.
Yep.
We're an old building that had a few different uses over the years. The building dates back to sometime around 1900, but somewhere around the 20s, it became a bakery and then was a series of different bakeries over the years. Krugnali was in there at one point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And then around somewhere in the 40s, it became a social club. And then it became a couple other social clubs over the years for probably the next 40 or 50 years, actually.
That long, huh?
Yeah, it was, you know, kind of men's club. There was an Italian-American club kind of thing for a while. The San Bernardino Men's Club, I think, had a chapter in there for a little while.
So it really kept its consistency going there.
There's a lot of history of it being a club. So Jay Scheckman, my boss who owns the building there, he bought the building a few years ago.
Okay.
He's not really in hospitality. He's more of a real estate guy.
Got it.
But he saw, you know, some potential in this space, and he brought me in to look at it. And you know, it took a long time to get the ball rolling, like probably close to 2 years. But here we are finally, and you know, 6 months in, we've turned it into a kind of new version of a social club. So
yeah, and that's what I mean. That's how you're kind of paying homage to what was there before you.
For sure.
The reviews and the things that are out there. First of all, I got to say that your website is amazing. You guys cover everything on the website, even listing all the people that are involved and how your disciplines are, what you're doing. Your name's on there, all that stuff. So I thought that was great. The social media you've started is fantastic, and you're getting rave reviews for your cocktails and your theme already. I know that the Journal did a coverage on you recently. I've seen a whole bunch of things out on social media, people checking in there. So in 6 months, you know, what took 2 years to get there, in 6 months, you're really darting off the ground, so to speak, to go there.
We've had a really, really warm reception so far from really everyone. We have a pretty eclectic group of people that come in, young, old, people from that, you know, live in the neighborhood.
Right.
people that have read about us in the Projo and come in to check it out.
And after today, you'll have everybody watching the show, I hope. So,
Of course.
So to go back to the homage point, and Kate was educating me on this before this because I hadn't realized this. So there is this club element that is available that's out there, right?
Of course. We are 100% open to the public, but we have kind of kept membership as part of the club. So we look at it as sort of a, like a museum membership.
Gotcha.
So you can pay $100 a year and you get access to a couple little perks that we offer.
$100 a year.
Yeah, it's not a ton of money.
No.
We kind of think of it as like the price of almost a beer a month at your bar with a tip, you know? So
What kind of membership?
for that you get access to reservations, on a Saturday night if you have your 4 friends and 8:30 or 10 o'clock you want a spot when it's kind of a busy part of the night. You're able to make a reservation as a member. We hold different events, wine tastings, spirit tastings, cocktail tastings for members specifically.
Nice.
And then also we host different, we've done a couple guest chefs dinners so far. We've had
Really?
Jake Rojas from Tallulah's and we had the guys from El Rancho Grande.
Oh, that's awesome.
So members have access to tickets to those things before the general public.
We had Joaquin in a couple weeks ago for Cinco de Mayo from El Rancho Grande.
Of course.
So you're bringing that. That's an awesome thing to do. I love seeing that. And this goes back to a lot of what we talk about on the Taste is the collaboration locally. Is that local businesses are supporting each other. It's not this heavy competition draw for different things. To hear that you've got these chefs that are coming in and kind of doing a pop-up with you, I think that's a lot.
It's been great. And also to their credit, our kitchen is about half the size of this small studio here.
Me.
We don't have a real kitchen, so it takes them out of their element a little bit, and that's
Right.
sort of what we want, not necessarily for them to come and do exactly what they do at their restaurants. But it's been great and really well received, and they've gone over, really, really well. We can't be more excited about it.
So you've got the public side, which is important to put out there. So you definitely can go in at any time, but these preferred perks, these different perks that can come with, people can stop in and find out about the memberships or do it online, or is that just to come into the club?
You can go online and fill out, we have a little questionnaire. It's nothing serious.
Okay.
It's just us getting to know a little bit about you so we have a reference point as to
Nice.
kind of where to start our relationship with you.
Perfect.
You can also come in. We have the same thing right in the bar. Just come in and talk, and we'll talk to you, give that to you. I mean, we're...
Keep it informal.
Again, it's very informal, and we really encourage people to come. And there's been a little bit of a, misconception that we are completely a private club.
Well, we're taking care of that now. So not a private club, but you can get some nice perks
on
if you
in.
decide to do it. So that's a good segue in talking about also your guest chefs and about the size of your kitchen. Let's go into talking about the concept internally, because these cocktails, I mean, their photographs have been unreal, and what you brought today. So let's talk about the style of your menu, before, and then we'll go to the cocktails after that to kind of go
Sure.
there. So tell us about what you are able to carry and what you put out, because you've got some cute little things here today.
Of course. So, I mean, we certainly think of ourselves as a cocktail bar first and foremost. That is the focus. That's the majority of our business.
Right.
But we're all, we love food, and we all have kind of eclectic tastes. So our food menu has really become sort of eclectic bar snacks with I would say, kind of a global influence.
Awesome.
So it's not necessarily your chicken wings and your burgers and your, stuff like that, but we
Okay.
have a couple other things.
You're taking it up a notch.
Yeah, I mean, you see a little Portuguese, you see a little Japanese, you see a little bit of Jewish influence. We kind of, hitting on a few notes to keep it a little interesting.
That's awesome. So what'd you bring today?
Over here, this is one of our house favorites. This is Clams Courtland. It's sort of our take on a stuffy.
Yeah.
We utilize, local quahogs with Portuguese sweetbread stuffing that has a little bit of alheira, which is also Portuguese sausage, and a little bit of chili, so a little bit of heat, but it's just the whole clam on the bottom with the stuffing on top. Super popular for us.
Super delicious too.
This with a beer or a nice glass of crisp white wine, maybe some bubbles, is just a great little snack to have at the bar.
Absolutely.
Also like on the snacky side, we have the pistachios over here, Rick. These are, again, just a simple thing to have at the bar with a drink. These we spice with za'atar.
I was going to say, I see the spice in there.
Yeah,
What is za'atar?
Za'atar is a kind of Middle Eastern spice that incorporates oregano and a couple other herbs that we're familiar with, but most importantly, sumac.
So does it make it hot and spicy, or just a little zest?
The sumac actually has a lemony flavor, so
Okay.
you get this kind of citrusy brightness, and then a little bit of the kind of herbal from the other herbs. So it's just a kind of, slightly exotic spice blend that
Love that.
lends itself to, some pistachios.
And that's my kind of thing to eat at the bar, so I love that. That's perfect. And what is this creative thing we have here?
So this over here is this is basically our kind of play on chopped liver, if you will.
Look at that.
It's a chicken liver puree. that we've topped with Manischewitz gelée. Manischewitz is a kind of sweet kosher wine.
Right.
So you've got a little bit of sweetness to kind of cut some of the richness of the
layered in here.
chicken liver itself, and then we serve that with matzah crackers over here and a little bit of pickled onion and cucumber.
Amazing.
So kind of a Jewish sort of influence here. This has been also extremely popular for us. The pate itself is really rich, really creamy, really delicious. Rich Abruzzese runs the kitchen for us. He's really the heart and soul of the place. We do stuff like this too, but we also do pizzas. We have raw oysters.
So you really got a nice mix.
It's a little eclectic, but also some stuff that's more familiar to a lot of people.
But I mean, to your credit, and congratulations to you, Rich, and the chef being in the kitchen, because to put this stuff together, and we're going to get to the next part of the cocktails here of how things pair up and stuff, but this is creative. I mean, I would love to walk in and see all of this. This would make me feel comfortable at the bar and know that I can try all these different things.
Thank you, Rick.
And I'm going from the wine enthusiast side to learning more and more about the cocktail side of things, which you're going to help me educate on now. But this is creative. This is a very creative approach to taking it. And in 6 months, I can see why people are enjoying it. So congratulations to all you guys.
Thank you for that. So should we talk about some drinks?
We have to, because this is mesmerizing to me.
Well,
So
I'd like to
where do you
actually
wanna
start with
here?
the one that I brought in for you, because you said you're a wine enthusiast.
Yep.
So yes, cocktails are a huge draw, and they really are our biggest seller at the club, but we love sips of interesting spirits and different fortified wines, and what you have here is a vermouth.
Really?
So just a straight up Spanish vermouth. It's a Blanco style vermouth, so it's going to be a little bit sweet. But it's a white style, and so again, this is wine at the end of the day. You're a wine enthusiast. This is infused wine.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
This to me is just such a cool serve. It's inexpensive. You can pour this at your house over ice. We serve it with a little bit of lemon, with an orange zest, and an olive, and it's just a very complex, simple way to enjoy a really amazing flavor.
And it's vermouth?
It's straight up vermouth. It's called Accia Amurio vermouth.
My God, it's amazing.
Vermouth is something that has kind of been vilified over the years. It's sort of making a comeback the last few years, but a lot of people think they don't like vermouth. And I have guests that come in so skeptical, but they're intrigued
It's
and
so
they try
light.
it.
It's refreshing.
It is so light, so refreshing. I mean, this is summer in a glass to me.
Absolutely.
And think of you having a party at your house. When you're hosting people, you don't want to be sitting there mixing cocktails.
This might replace my gin and tonic.
You just pour that over ice. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Put a little zest of lemon on
Taylor,
top.
I hope you got a good picture of this one, because this might be my new summer drink.
So that's a cool example of what we do. We carry a kind of eclectic mix of different spirits and different sherries, vermouths. We have European eau de vies, just some different offerings.
So the lemon and the orange kind of melds into the taste of it, because I'm getting both of that already right now.
For sure. The lemon really, the lemon, we zest, we twist the zest over, so the oils from the lemon really kind of fall over the drink, and that's very aromatic, and that really brings out a lot of the aromas in the vermouth. I mean, vermouth is wine that's been fortified with a little bit of alcohol and then infused with citrus peels, herbs, spices.
I'm loving this.
It's a very interesting and delicious thing, and kind of, it's making a little bit of a comeback. So I love being able to serve that to the guests, and they've enjoyed it.
That's awesome. What's next?
I'm going to segue over here now. Perfect segue, actually. So this is our version of a gin martini. Gin martini also has vermouth in it. Dry vermouth and gin is traditionally a martini.
Right.
So simple drink. What we do differently, we call this the lupini martini. So
Lupini.
a lupini bean. Have you ever had a lupini bean?
No, I don't think so.
A lupini bean is, we call this Portuguese edamame. It's a little bean, and on one end there's a little pip, if you will.
Okay, yeah.
You put that in your mouth and you squeeze on the husk, and the bean shoots out, and you put the husk in this little dish right here.
Get out of here.
So anyways, it kind of replaces the olive.
I might
It's
start
salty.
drinking more cocktails. This is interesting.
This tastes like ricotta cheese to me.
Get out. I'm trying one.
Try one. They're really, really, really
So I push
crazy.
it out through the pip.
Yep. And it can kind of shoot out. Be cautious.
It's delicious.
So anyways, to me, well, let's get to the drink itself. So what we do that's unique with this martini is we don't dilute
I might just buy those and eat those.
They're an amazing snack. Martini's usually gin or vodka and vermouth, and you stir it and you dilute it and you chill it like that. What we do a little differently is we freeze the whole drink. So we mix it. Okay. We use a gin from Maine, we use a dry vermouth from Italy, and we use a little tiny bit of bergamot liqueur just for a little bit of body. Okay. But then we put it in the freezer, and if a lot of us have put, that Absolute bottle in the freezer, and when it freezes, it gets really kind of thick and greasy in texture, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we've kind of done that, and that's like, instead of this drink being diluted, it's all alcohol. So you get a little more texture on the pour itself.
Okay.
And you're not, I mean, this is really strong. So you see we serve it in this tiny little glass. It looks kind of like, what is this? But you're getting like
heavy,
saturated flavor. This is like a very, very intense, I'd say, saturation of Martini flavor. We just zest a little bit of lemon over the top. And again, you serve it with the lupini beans. These kind of cut some of the richness with that fattiness, so you get a really cool little balance.
I gotta find
here.
these beans because I might eat the rest of those on you.
Have a sip of this, Rick.
So now you said this is high in alcohol content.
This is high in alcohol. I mean, this is a gin martini done really, really kind of in a new way.
Flavor though on it.
A lot of very intense flavors. The gin itself is very dry and has a very kind of unique aromatic profile, I'd say. But you definitely get the lemon zest on top, so that kind of lightens it up. But a really cool drink, and a drinker's cocktail, if you will. This is not for the faint of heart.
No, but I know a lot of people that would enjoy something like that. So all this concept of things going here, kind of, before I let you go, you're creating amazing things. Is it every day that you're putting in new stuff, that you're creating new ideas, new concepts coming in? Are you changing them, the menu regularly?
Because we've been open 6 months, we pretty much stayed drink-wise with where we've been.
Okay.
Now that the weather is getting a little warmer, we are definitely leaning into some more spring and summer type
With
drinks.
the ingredients and things that you can
We're
pull.
working on those right now.
So what's the last one that you brought?
This last drink here, this has been our most popular drink at the club. This we call this the Mother Teresa. It's a play on a drink called the Teresa Cocktail, which traditionally is it's a classic cocktail that's a little lesser known. That's Campari, creme de cassis, and lime juice.
Okay.
We played on that. We added beet juice. We added raspberry puree.
Really?
We added mezcal. We added a little bit of Campari.
Okay.
We added a little bit of a lime syrup that we make, and we added rose water. So this drink is just a lot going on, and it sounds kind of crazy, but it's been so popular. Mezcal is very popular these days.
Right,
And the earthiness of the mezcal really pairs well with the beet, and it adds to a really complex drink, but it's still really light and refreshing. And that smokiness that people sometimes are a little hesitant about with mezcal is really kind of tampered by the rest of the ingredients in the drink.
All right, so needless to say, I'm going to be visiting the Courtland Club and probably doing a Facebook Live with Jesse because this is all awesome to me, and I will be finished the vermouth and those beans when I get off the set. Jesse, thank you for making the time to come in today. This was fantastic. Congratulations to you guys over there and creating it in the space you've done. It's really something to look forward to, and I think a lot of people will be checking you out very soon. So thank you for making the time.
Thanks, Rick.
Great.
Appreciate it.
Taylor, you're not drinking my vermouth. It is so good. All right, I'll let you grab those because they're going to take you a second to get it out.
We're clearing all this, right?
Yep, you're going to take it all right out. This was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Cool, yeah. Thanks for having me.
Of course. All right, as Taylor gets me ready for the next one. So I was mentioning before that my surprise guest in this twist of it today is going to be Laura from Buns and Bites. And I'm going to bring her in just a second as soon as we set this up. But if